The child's head is flat from behind with a prominent forehead. Index finger is flat, 3 toes are abnormally long. The left foot has 6 toes. Tear ducts.
You done done, Lord, easy rider. See what you done done.
I've been listening off and on today, and some of the things that I've heard, I could hardly believe.
Can't be any prior restraint. That's what the liberty means, you know. Until they do something. I really believe that.
This is KDNA, though, where you can be on both freak trips and straight trips.
From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, a truly people's radio in St. Louis, KDNA.
Yonder is KDNA.
I like bluegrass music.
Oh boy, speaking of having to do something, it's just starting to get boring too.
Hi, crew.
Hello.
Go right in. There's some beautiful bluegrass.
Okay, excellent.
Poetry comes in my subjective opinion, comes in when you're able to get something, when you're able to get a radio station that sounds absolutely stark raving mad, insane, crazy, and also informative, educational, and just plain old fun. And there's too few stations like that around.
About 2 radio stations in St. Louis, KDNA and KBDY. The stations share many things. Both are based upon a philosophy of open broadcasting and community access, and both operate without advertising on minuscule budgets, depending upon their community for both volunteer manpower and financial support. But the 2 stations are also very different, and they illustrate the variety of directions that listener-supported community radio can take. KDNA went on the air in early 1969 as a commercial station. It was quickly found, however, that the demands of advertisers inevitably meant restrictions on programming. So to continue open broadcasting, KDNA turned to its listeners for direct support through contributions. The station operated on listener support until June of 1973, when it was forced to leave the air for complex financial reasons. People involved with KDNA formed the Double Helix Corporation and have remained active in St. Louis, applying for both a new radio station and a television station, and also helping community radio stations get started all over the country. This tape was shot when KDNA was still on the air.
When I came in, it was a small, closely knit group of people living on the second and third floors of the station, and they were the staff, and they did most of the work that had to be done around the station, and we were really close-knit. We were a lot tighter and closer than the station is right now. A group working together, it's a group of people who have a lot of different ideas that they want to bring into the station, a lot of people who aren't on the staff that come in and do different things. It's not all the time, it's not a one-purpose radio station anymore. It doesn't have like one central purpose and one central group of people doing it. It's spread out. It's over the years become this collection of crazies.
I've been everywhere in the world. Mummy's rich and Daddy's dead. I've been everywhere. Where with Mommy? I hate those other places. The people in all those other places are hypocritical. They're dishonest. They're not to be believed. So I've come back home. And now I'm visiting my favorite places. 42nd Street, for instance. And they're changing it. I can't stand it. I just came from a movie. It was called Sex, Be My Master. It was fun. I come out and they're tearing down the Hotel Astor. How do you like that for bad modern poetry? I'll take Emily Dickinson any old day. Mommy read me Edna St. Vincent Millay. I was only 5 then. You can't compare them, the lovely lady American poets. So I come back home to read them again. Back home, where I belong. If the civil rights leaders want to tear down the Statue of Liberty and replace it with one of Aunt Jemima, well, it's all right with me. Besides, let's give the Statue of Liberty back to France. I've been there. A year in Paris. De Gaulle is just as bad as the governor of Alabama. My name is Bobo Society. My candle burns at both ends. It will not last the night. But all my foes and all my friends, it gives a lovely light.
Oh, that's nice. Where's that from?
Leonard Melfi.
Yeah. 5 minutes, gentlemen. 5 minutes.
All right. Yeah, well, the concept of community radio, you know, I don't know, I fell into it by accident because I came over here to do a couple of things on KDNA, and the next thing I knew, you know, I had a show myself. And the thing that really impressed me was being able to get the message of what's happening as it relates to the people, out to the people. News is a two-sided thing. You can have it slant either way. You can have it slant toward the people that are in control of it, or, you know, the people that are being affected by it. And like, as a rule, people, you know, they might see themselves on television and they know that they did something this way, but by the time it gets to television, they edit it and everything, you know, it's completely reversed, and they don't even know who they are, you know. They might not even know that that's the same situation that they were in.
Don't stand there and make him wait like that. Give him what you got under your hat. Make him think everything's down pat. Mama, won't you come tell Papa?
Tom Thomas of Double Helix.
Sure, there's a lot of problems that come with that kind of support, and a lot of difficulties that you have to face when the funds don't come in, but it puts you in a very different kind of contact with the community that you're trying to serve in a way that I think is very important. Most broadcasters spend all their broadcast time inside a little cubicle that's completely isolated from the world around them. The whole broadcast building, in fact, most people don't even know where it is. Do you know where the radio stations are in your community? Of course not, because you never have any call to find out. And KDNA was forced to be in direct contact 24 hours a day, every day, with its community. And there were pressures of lack of support that forced us to stimulate our own imagination, to combine resources in ways that they hadn't been used before. That made an entirely new kind of radio, and a very exciting kind of radio, both to be a part of from the inside, and I think to be a listener to on the outside.
She left me down to the stadium. She said, "You're young, find someone new." Now I got them St. Louis blues, excursion boat cruise. St. Louis blues, you and I lose the thought I'm talking about that St. Louis blues. St. Louis blues, you and I lose.
Live Day? Live Day is it's time when we sort of go back to the beginnings of radio, when all radio had to be live, when all radio was dependent upon the community that it was involved with and the talent that was right there, instead of depending upon records, tapes, promo men, whatever. And Live Day is St. Louis.
Jeremy Lansman, founder of KDNA.
The two feelings. The first time we're on the air is the feeling of the broadcaster, because all of a sudden we can impinge our ideas on the St. Louis radio dial. And we turn on the transmitter for the first time. The first few times I went on, I played some Indian music, and I had an old transmitter up the Continental Building running at 1/100th or 1,000th its power, and an antenna made up of a piece of wire hanging out the window. And I played some Indian music. Well, that's the first time, I think, Indian music ever appeared on the St. Louis radio dial. So there I am broadcasting. That's my idea. You know, heavy vibes and all. And I don't think anyone noticed. So very slowly we got the station on the air playing weird things, and people noticed it as being a weird station first. So that's us broadcasting. We're saying, well, you can do different things with radio. That's our idea. We're broadcasting that out to you. We can do weird things with radio. Play Indian music, play modern, contemporary, classical music that has people playing with the guitar or the piano strings, right in the piano and stuff. And then, on the other hand, the most interesting thing that's happened with KDNA to me is not that at all. The most interesting thing that we've done at KDNA that I have not heard elsewhere are the very rare occurrences where we get four people of opposing viewpoints, strongly emotional sometimes, calling in on the phone and talking to each other, sometimes for hours. And that's only good if it reaches a climax. And after that climax, people understand each other and feel some sort of warmth for each other. Like the first one I heard was discussion of the war. And there's some young kid going out to Vietnam, and there was someone. It was some time back. Yeah, there's someone who had just come back and was embittered, really bitter, and a right-wing flag waver. No, it was a classic phone-in. And I've never heard that on any other station. That's the opposite of broadcasting. And these people really listened to each other. And three of them came down to the station afterwards and brought some hamburgers and things and sat around and talked. 3 of the 4. That was nice. That's mass group therapy,
If you have any old furniture or chairs or couches or anything like that, why don't you bring it down and give it to the older people so they can sit down, relax, look at TV, and have lunch and discuss their problems, not only problems, just have, talk with each other, okay? So if you got anything that you would like to give to the older people, just call us here at Montgomery Hyde Park, 231-9320, and say, hey, I got a couch, a chair, or something for the older folks down there, all right? Who knows? It may be my grandmother.
KBDY is a small station in St. Louis's inner city. It's operated by a community center, the Montgomery Hyde Park Neighborhood Council. KBDY began as an offshoot of KDNA, and many of the same people have been involved in both stations. It went on the air at the end of 1973. The station is located in the center's main building, along with the daycare center and several other social service programs. Across the street is a health clinic. KBDY works closely with these other services, and both its staff and programming have a strong neighborhood character. But KBDY also attracts both listeners and volunteers from all over St. Louis.
When it happens, sometimes we're caught short. We don't know exactly how to handle it when it comes up. Sometimes we don't know.
This is Bill Thomas from radio station KBDY, and I'd gotten his name a while ago as somebody who might be interested in doing some like poetry readings and stuff over the radio, and so I just wanted to talk to him about it some of the time. Okay, well, can I leave a message for him to call me?
Bill Thomas, station coordinator for KBDY.
One of the things that we're learning here, and one of the things that's really important about a radio station like this, is that we have people here with the station from widely different parts of the city, widely different cultures of people, inner city black people and suburban white people and inner city white people, and Chicanos and everybody in between. And, the radio station, the existence of the radio station pulled these different people in and is holding them together. And there's a lot of learning going on my part, and I hope on other people's parts, on how to work with a group like this. Because it's, even if you didn't want to, which I do want to, but even if you didn't want to, you're forced to consider, what everybody thinks. And see, now this is also very important in being a community radio station, is that instead of me as the station manager sitting down and thinking and talking to people and working out my idea of what a community radio station is going to be, and then implementing that through ordering people to do different things and stuff like that, the community radio station is developed by different people from different parts of the community putting in what they can do, and instead of me telling them you're going to do this and this and this, they do to a certain extent, you know, what they want to do. I mean, there's all kinds of checks and controls and pressures on everybody.
Yeah.
But see, we create a community radio station by having people from different parts of the community help create the station. And I think that's a better way, although it's more difficult and involves a lot of hassles, and it involves people getting angry and people getting upset about, you know, they're afraid of the station being too much this way or too much that way, hostilities and tensions. I guess you have those with the autocratic type of thing too, but they're more standardized and channeled. And here, you know, you have to deal with all that, but when it gets worked out, what goes over the air should be an expression of the community.
No, I work as a clerk. I push a pencil all day long. Not all day long. From 8:30 to 4:30 or 5. And I work here like I worked at KDNA, and like we expect to be working at KDNA at Channel 40. We do it without pay, and nobody should get the idea that they're going to do it for pay. Get that completely out of their minds. Absolutely no way. And I dedicate about 3 or 4 hours once a week here at the station. Plus, I have to come to a meeting every other Monday and find out what's going on, keep up. Also, I do my homework when I'm not here. I read up on whatever I can, and then I correspond with people in Latin America, or trying to get my correspondence started. And I go around preaching non-commercial radio to my Latin American friends.
25 words or less, what does KBDY mean to you?
What does KBDY mean? KBDY means to me the wall that I put up with my own bare hands and a hammer, and also the possibility that this station, it could be the greatest station in the entire metropolitan St. Louis area. But lacking that, the fact that it could possibly just be a station that is informative, is crazy, insane, and is fun to listen to.
In this program, you've seen a little bit of how listener-supported community radio works here in St. Louis. But St. Louis isn't the only place where this kind of radio station's on the air. In fact, it's all over the country, both in big cities like New York, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and in somewhat out-of-the-way places like Columbia, Missouri, Madison, Wisconsin, or Lincoln, Nebraska. But you've only been looking at it from the outside, as a listener, in this case as a viewer, and that's only part of what community radio is about. The other half is that you, just a resident of your community, can be part of the broadcasting process. Maybe that's what this program can be about too, encouraging you to start your own community radio station. It's not all that hard to do. I'll give you a few tips. You'll need an organization, a nonprofit organization, set up from your community. You'll need about $3,000 to $10,000, depending on how elaborate a station you want to start out with. And you'll need a frequency on which to broadcast, which you'll probably have to get an engineer to help you find. Once you get that far, you can begin to approach the Federal Communications Commission for a license. And there's lots of people at these existing stations who'll be more than willing to help you. One thing that can help you from right at the start is a handbook on community radio published by Lorenzo Milam. It's called Sex and Broadcasting, and you can get it just by writing to him directly at 5 University Avenue, Los Gatos, California. And we here at Double Helix Corporation in St. Louis will also be willing to help you. Our address is Post Office Box 8187, Pierre Laclede Station, St. Louis, Missouri. So think about that. It may be a possibility in your community, and it may not be quite as hard as it seems.